Isolation. Day 8. People are acting stupider than ever. Humanity has taken a turn down a dark path. I've never been so scared in my entire life.
Daddy, what are you doing?
Oh, just getting on this laundry. What's for lunch?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches, okay. Well, do we need anything?
Bread.
Bread. Well, I guess we're not exactly in panic mode. But life's not exactly normal either. Hi, I'm Nick Bova. I'm a chef here in Toronto, and I'm here in all of my COVID beard, no barber glory to bring you cooking for the apocalypse. We're going to bring this program to you, and the goal of Cooking for the Apocalypse is to give you a resource when going to the grocery store just isn't an option. So today I need to make bread for lunch, and it looks like, unfortunately, I don't have any. This was my last trip out to the grocery store. I got flour, some spare time stuff for the kids. Okay, it's going down.
How are you?
Good, you got the stuff?
I got the stuff. I have the toilet paper.
All right.
Open the car.
Deal done. Ho, 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 ho. Come to Papa. That is some high-grade stuff. So, it looks like we're going to need bread. Bread is a great recipe for us to start with on Cooking for the Apocalypse, not just because I was a baker for a number of years and it's something that's close to my heart, but also it's exactly what we're trying to achieve. It's faster than you think, it's easier than you think, and after some quick explanation, I think it's something that you can make your own. Now, humans have been baking bread for thousands of years, and it's become something of a lost art. None of us are baking bread at home anymore, and I think a lot of it has to do with an old adage that baking is a science. Now, I don't know about you, but I never liked science much. I'm more of a visual guy. So we'll try and explain the science of it to you so that you can bend it to your will. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to bring out the whiteboard and we're going to get to some of the science behind baking bread. So just give me a second while this thing loads up here. Okay, we're going to talk about the chemical reactions that are happening inside of bread. Bread is easy. We have to make two things happen. We have to create gluten. Gluten is made by adding flour to water and then working it out a little bit. And then carbon dioxide is made by adding yeast to sugar. Now, gluten is found in all kinds of flour. Bread flour, all-purpose flour, pastry flour, all in different amounts. Now, this is our gluten. Hey, how are you? I'm good. Now, we're going to add some water to him. He's going to join up with his friends. No. They don't like it, but we're going to work them out, and they're going to get long and stretchy, and they're going to create bubbles around our friend yeast. Now, yeast, is like a frat boy. He drinks all the time. When he drinks sugar, it makes him, fart. So that fart is going to make his bubble bigger. Now, these parties are happening all around him in different levels, different volumes. Now, salt is going to come along, and he's going to shut down some of these parties. And that's going to create a more even bubble structure inside of our bread. And that's called the crumb. So we've trapped CO2 inside gluten, and we've done that by adding flour to water. and then adding yeast to sugar, and then using salt to control that reaction. We're also going to add oil to this recipe, and it's used more as a preservative. So that's it. You are now officially certified in bakery science. And now that you're certified, let's have a look at how this all goes together. So this is super easy. It's so easy, I'm not even going to measure. I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to pour out of the bags, and I'm not going to use a mixer. I'm just going to do it on my counter, which, by the way, was thoroughly sanitized before starting this video, as were my hands. Hand washing, always important, not just now, always, okay? Especially when you're trying to create a chemical reaction inside of a nice purified product like flour. So we're going to make a little well, and I'll talk about each chemical or each ingredient as we use it. So the first one we're going to add is salt. I add a little bit too much salt to my hand here, so I'm just going to get rid of some of that. But salt is doing a few things. It's not just controlling that reaction. It's also adding flavor to the flour. So when you add your salt, think about how much salt you would need to add to make that flour a little bit more flavorful. And we're going to add about 3 times as much sugar. So I added about a tablespoon of salt. We're going to add about 3 tablespoons of sugar. This is for white bread. There is a lot of sugar in white bread. There's nothing you can do about that. That's the way it goes. We need the sugar to make the reaction happen. So that's what we're going to do. We're adding 3 tablespoons of sugar. It's going to add some flavor. It's going to speed up the reaction, and it's going to give us a softer texture. Now, we're also going to add yeast. In this case, I only had pizza yeast, which you may be running into. There's not a lot of yeast out there right now. Now, pizza yeast, you just add right into the flour. We can talk a little bit more about how yeast works, but basically just read the directions on the side of the jar. If it asks you to use water and sugar to create a reaction before you add it into the flour, then remove that water and sugar from the recipe you're using. It just makes sense. So we're going to add some flour. We're going to get some oil. That's right, as a preservative. And this is going to add some flavor and texture as well. And as we get into the oil, I'm going to get right into mixing. Okay, so we're going to add the water a little bit at a time. For pizza yeast, we're adding hot water, but for regular yeast, you're going to use tepid water, so about the same temperature as your skin. It should feel neutral against your skin. It shouldn't feel hot or cold. So you can see this is quite a messy process at the beginning. We call this like a shaggy kind of a dough, and you can see why. Hey, Reggie. Okay, not that kind of shaggy, but we're going to work this out, and it's going to get stretchy and sticky. It's going to stick to your fingers. You can see it stuck to mine, but fairly quickly. It's going to take 5 to 10 minutes for you to get it to the point that it's stretchy and it's going to hold your chemical reaction in. That's what we're looking for. So you can see already it's getting smooth and stretchy. This is near the end, and to test it, I'm going to pull it out and just have a look and see if I can get it to look translucent. And I can in this case. So I'm going to form it into a ball. I'll show you how to do that later. You can see it really quickly here. And then I'm going to put it into a sprayed bowl. So here's my stainless steel bowl. I'm going to use regular cooking spray from Costco. And I'm just going to drop my guy in there and cover it with a wet towel.
Let's talk quickly about oven setup. Now, I've set for convection, which I have in my oven, but if you don't have, don't worry about it. And I'm setting it to 400 degrees. You can see I've set my bowl right here next to the vent of my oven. You can see that steam coming out. And there's steam in there because I've put a pan underneath my pizza stone. The pizza stone is ideal if you can get it, but also not necessary. The water is necessary. Put a pan of water in your oven before you start preheating to get this little bit of steam and a little bit of heat onto your rising dough. Okay, so our dough is ready. Let's have a look. Okay, my fingerprints stay in it. That's a pretty good indication that it's done. So now we just have to shape it into a loaf. This is actually a lot easier than you might think. So all we're going to do is turn the bottom in like this. Okay, so I'm pulling the edge out and putting it into the middle. Pulling the edge out, pulling it into the middle. Over and over again. Okay, until we get the shape we want. Whew. Sorry, a little wobble cam there. Okay. Now because of the gluten, our dough is nice and stretchy and elastic. Okay, and it's had some time to rest, so it's nice and soft and easy to work with. So it's basically like stretching a sheet over top of the whole thing. And you get this nice smooth surface. Now all we're gonna do is put it on some parchment. Okay, and we're gonna cover it with a wet towel. Okay, and we're going to let it rise again. Okay, so our bread has about doubled in size. Now, it might not look like it's doubled in size, but we cut a piece off just for pizza. So it has now doubled in size. I'm going to grab a knife, and we're going to do a quick score. Okay, now I'm using a bread knife. You could use any really sharp knife that you have. A bread knife works best for this though. So all I'm going to do is draw it across in the shape of a square. And it's really important for you to score your bread so that you tell the bread where to go. And you can see already it's starting to separate and pull away. Now we're going to put this in the oven. Before it goes in the oven, I'm going to pour some water into the pan that we had earlier to create some steam. Okay? Here we go. Okay, so that's going to create some steam right when we put it in. Okay, and there she goes. We'll come back in about 20-25 minutes.
Bam!
Right?
Oh, yeah. Look at that sexiness. Beautiful. Once more, bread up.
No? Okay, that's fine.
So that's our finished product. We've made this recipe 100 different times, 100 different ways, and I'm going to leave you with some photographs of some of the things that we've done with the bread recipe over the years. I hope you had a good time watching. I really hope you learned something. And remember to subscribe to the link at the bottom because there's going to be a lot more videos coming out. And we want to hear from you and what you liked best about this video and what you want to see for future videos. So please remember to comment and like and share.
Get a handle on good soup, Lipton cup of soup. Get a handle on good soup, Lipton cup of soup.
There are 20 varieties of Lipton Cup of Soup, from cream of asparagus to cream of chicken with mushrooms, from spring vegetable to vegetable beef. Get a handle on one today.
A bank account should be more than just a place to put your money. It should put your money to work for you.
I see a new generation with new expectations, and we're answering with ideas like the Smart Start Youth Account.
Today, people want more than one RSP option. At CIBC, I can show you several different plans. You just have to look at the choice CIBC has to offer. That's why a quarter of all Canadians do their banking here. It's in your best interest.
Get us working for you, CIBC.
serious students at U of T. This is City TV, everywhere.
Are you guys still here? Get out of here. Go home. Go.